Hello, magic beings. I want to chat with you about the Mars retrograde we're experiencing right now. So we have a Mars retrograde between October 30th, 2022 and 12th of January 2023. So the Mars retrograde starting at the beginning of the Scorpio season. If you remember the Scorpio season with the portal of eclipse that we're just emerging out, really just emerging out. And I kind of feel that a lot of us are still feeling strongly the energies of Scorpio and the eclipses, and it's going to last for the time it's supposed to last. We're in the process. We are creating something very new, and it's happening in every cell of our being. I personally really feel this way. It's like every of my cell is dying to reverse. So Mars retrograde is happening every 2 years. And it's happening now in the sign of Gemini. So Mars is usually at home. Mars, yeah, I'm gonna show you Mars. It's usually at home in Aries. And it's the vibe of Mars is this very active, masculine, fiery energy, and Aries has this bold, fiery action energy. So this is Mars. It's like, I'm going for it. Now we're going. And now Mars is in Gemini. And Gemini is so Mars more related to this fiery energy. And Gemini is a mutable air. So what does it mean? Gemini is in the change. It's this ability and this energy of communication, socialization. It has something of the social butterfly. It doesn't mean the Gemini energy is superficial, not at all. It's just Gemini goes where it's attracted and where it's really being inspired and nourished in more in I don't want to say just only in a mental way, but there's something very intellectually acting here with Gemini. I'm going where I'm very inspired intellectually, but being inspired intellectually can also go into doing a lot of like a special sport or having a certain passion that takes your mind, makes your mind very present. I wanted to say takes your mind away, but no, not disperse it, but really brings you into this state. There is a vibe, like Gemini vibes with the wind. It's a very windy energy, and it's very light. So a Gemini in its power, like a Gemini energy in its power, will go where it's attracted to go, and when it's not attracted, when it's not nourished anymore, it will go somewhere else. The only thing that gets Gemini energy stuck is the mentality that is creating, I don't know what, for the Gemini energy to be stuck, because Gemini is in the change, it's in the movements, socialization, communication, it's all in this light movement. So Mars in Gemini, so imagine fire in the wind. So that can create many things, that can blow the wind, that can blow the fire away, or that can spark the fire more. So just an exercise is to go around with a candle and observe how can you keep your flame lit with your candle moving around. You need a strong light to keep it strong in the winds. And Mars is retrograde now, so the symbology, the feeling effect of that, it's a big slow down. So it's very great because when the winds are slowing down, the light and the fire can be nourished, they can grow stronger. But in the Mars personality, the Mars archetype, would say, because personality can be a bit categorizing. The Mars archetype, Mars wants to do it now. So when the fiery warrior is being asked to slow down, that can create frustration, and that's what to look for. All this frustration, this anger, this, those triggers that get us and they're like, ugh, and suddenly we're boiling up in our thoughts and we want to act or we don't want to act, like something that is triggering us. Frustration, anger, again. This is what this Mars retrograde might be facing you with. And it's not facing you with your frustration for you to be frustrated, but for you to finally confront yourself with those frustrations and find a way to express them and to soothe them, to smooth yourself. It's like how the warrior takes care of itself. So we started this Mars retrograde during the Scorpio season. Very emotional, very emotional. It's a complete death and rebirth happening inside of us. And as I said, it's happening on its own time. We're not rebirthing like that. The baby is not coming out of what first? When are we fully born? Because we think, okay, there was a seed planted. Yeah, it's a gecko telling us, yes. It's a gecko. We're in the seed, and then the seed is planted, and then the seed is in gestation, and then it's coming out as a baby, but then the baby is growing and the cells are constantly like dying and rebirthing, and we're evolving, and then there is a human physical heart death. But then there might be something else as well. So when do we stop growing? When do we stop going forward? And that's something to remind yourself, especially all the time. But especially I feel during this Mars retrograde where you feel things are maybe not happening, or it's very slow, or you're frustrated because it doesn't feel fast enough, or you don't get the result straight away. Because this frustration, often the frustration we're feeling is when we don't get what we expect, or we are so pressured by an illusion of time, like the clocking calendar time. But there are more times, there are divine times. That's why astrology, I really like it, because it's connecting us with a constant flow of time, and it's infinite and it's endless and it's happening without us having to control it or to decide how it's happening. I'm not changing. It's like the winter and summertime. I'm not changing 1 hour suddenly. No, it's happening. Earth is spinning, our heart is beating, life is happening. And it's happening on its own timing, and the sense of time, because frustration has something to do with the sense of time. The sense of time is, what is that? Sometimes you feel like a day is going super fast and another day is going super slow. Sometimes you don't want to do something, so it's magically happening very slow. Sometimes you're really excited about something, so it's magically happening super fast. So what to watch here for, as Gemini is very connected with the intellect as well, is how you're thinking, your experience. It's happening, you're moving, you can actually observe yourself taking actions and doing things that you want to do. Wow. Just had a moment. So yeah, exactly. Take the time to breathe, to pause, and to not let your thoughts take you in all directions, because this is very tiring. It's too much wind up there. So calm the wind. Also, this Mars retrograde, as I was taking this image of the candle flame in the wind, to keep our light strong when there's a lot of movement, it's important to really define what nourishes our light and what really cares for our light, where our light as well is taking us, because nourishment is not only how we nourish the light to burn, it's also how we consume this light. Is the nourishment we're giving to our light to be consumed and to generate our light is healthy for our light. So I really invite you to really observe what's nourishing you in your relationships, in your way of thinking, what you consume, being the books, being the movies, being the social medias, being your food. What does nourish your light in a good way for you? So I say good way. And also, haha, the word good comes out of me, and I'm like, no, good and bad. Be careful to not play with the extreme of duality and to judge yourself, oh, this is good, oh, this is bad. You are living a unique experience. You are on your journey, and please don't judge yourself being wrong or right about it. You're living it. Your heart is beating, you're living it. You're yourself. So learn how to simply observe yourself and be compassionate with yourself and adapt and transform where you don't feel really at ease with what's happening with yourself, with frustration, for example. Frustration and anger, it's a lot about action, the way we act and what wants to be acted upon. And remember that thinking is action too. There's a lot of fire in the nervous connections. The electricity, fire. So no matter what's happening with you, do not panic. It's happening. There is a process. Things are always in motion. Take the time to sit, to breathe, focus on your discipline, but be gentle in your discipline. Just a word about discipline, because here with this warrior energy, we might want to just go very strong. I need to discipline myself. This is making me feel better. I need to do this and this and this. And our body is just exhausted and our thoughts are wanting something else. And listen to yourself. Being disciplined is not following a strict, controlled way of doing. Being disciplined is creating a container for yourself to care for yourself. So the discipline you know of may want to be transformed and do something else, especially in this time of rebirth, in the time where we ask to slow down. And for all of us in the North Hemisphere, it's autumn as well. We're transiting here. We're in a big transition between summer and winter. So slow down. Yes, that's Mars retrograde in Gemini. Slow down and do the things that really nourish you. And if you're not happy in a situation, if it doesn't nourish you, just remove yourself from it. So yes, some situation you can actually stop seeing some people or doing some activities, but other situation you can change the situation by expressing some things that maybe you haven't expressed, by taking an action you may have not taken before. There's many ways to transform a situation, you know. Sitting with a cup of water can change completely the situation of now as well, to take an example. Because this is my favorite example, to sit with water. When everything goes wild in your head, sit with a cup of water and breathe. I wish you a beautiful time with yourself. And we'll chat soon. Ciao!